Hello again, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Joe Handy, the Android Authority App Guy, and welcome to the 156th episode of the Android Apps Weekly Show. Consequently, this is also the 3-year anniversary of the show, which I started all the way back in September of 2013. In honor of the 3-year anniversary, we have done some aesthetic and formatting changes that we hope you're going to enjoy a whole lot. I didn't want to take a whole lot of time because we do have a whole show to go through, but I did want to say thank you to everybody who has watched, whether you've been watching for 3 years or you just started watching last week. Your support means a whole lot to me, and I really hope you guys are here when we hit year 4. With that said, let's get started. Google will be hosting a festival for indie game developers later this month. During the event, indie developers will be able to showcase their newest games. Ahead of the event, Google has narrowed down their list of the best indie games that were submitted down to 30, which will be narrowed down even further at the festival. However, most of them aren't available in the Google Play Store just yet. We'll be sure to talk about them when they do arrive. Swiftkey received a pretty big update this last week. Over a month ago, the company was having some problems with its syncing service and disabled it entirely. This week's update fully reinstates those features. Included in the update is the return of phone number and email predictions, and there are also 8 new languages and some other smaller things. It's nice to see this problem has been completely fixed. Google Play released a short list of the top trending apps and games from August of 2016. These are essentially the top downloaded apps and games from the last month. Some of them include Prisma, Mobius Final Fantasy, Google Duo, and ESPN's Fantasy Football app. Aside from that, it was also announced that a few new applications, including Anchor FM, Pac-Man Pop, and a few other apps and games, would be released this upcoming month. Some resourceful people went diving into Pokemon Go's code after the latest update and found some actual goodies. There is evidence now to support that Niantic is working on allowing players to trade Pokemon and to battle one another. Along with that, clues in the code show item variances, legendary Pokemon, and something called forts that we're not quite sure about yet. The game's popularity has started to dwindle a little bit, but this could help change that. Google has officially launched their Early Access program. What this means is that pretty much any developer can release an open beta of their application to give users early access in order to help find bugs. The aim is to help more applications get released that are more stable and help eliminate those release day bugs that us early adopters always have to deal with. You'll start seeing more of them in the Play Store in the coming months for sure. Okay folks, let's take a look at the apps and games that made a big splash over the last week. If you want to check out any of these apps or games for yourself, you can find those links in the video description below. Orbit is one of the few Android games that will be featured at Google's Indie Game Festival later this month that is also already out. In this game, you'll be tasked with making dots orbit around a black hole. Every new level has a different configuration and number of black holes that you'll have to work around. Orbit uses a gravity simulation to determine where your dots will go, and they'll be swallowed up if you don't make the orbits just right. It's a freemium game, but one of the better ones that we've seen. Navbar Applications is a fun little app that lets you customize your software navigation keys. You'll be able to make it whatever color that you want on the fly, or you can have it mimic the color of whatever application that you're using. Alternatively, you can put images on the navbar, use it as a battery meter, or even just add a little texture. It's not a big thing, but fans of customization and theming could find a good use for this. Anyone who is interested can pick up the application for free, with the Pro version running for 99 cents as an in-app purchase. Hovercraft Takedown isn't really all that new, but it's another game that will be featured at Google's Indie Developer Festival that you can play right now. This is a retro racing shooter where you'll be facing off against AI opponents. Consequently, you'll be armed to the teeth with all kinds of implements of destruction, and you'll be able to customize your hovercraft at will. This is a freemium game with card collecting mechanics to further that business model. However, the rampant explosions more than make up for it. Crowdsource is a fun little Google application that lets you actually help. It's an application that lets you run through a variety of exercises to try to make Google Translate a little bit better. What you do is translate images, handwriting, etc. into text and then submit it to Google. Because of this, Google Translate is supposed to get a little bit better, or at least that's the theory. It's a completely free application to pick up if you want to help out, and most of the exercises only take a few minutes. Square Enix continues their ridiculous run of game releases with Justice Monsters 5. Fun fact, this actually started its life as a mini-game in Final Fantasy 15 before it was ripped out and turned into its own mobile game. This is actually a pinball game that also has RPG and fighting mechanics. You'll launch the balls into the bad guys with your flippers and then they'll take damage. It's suffering from some early release bugs, so you may want to wait a few updates so that everything can be fixed up. Otherwise, it's an okay time killer if you're looking for one of those. For even more Android apps and games news and other coverage, don't forget to check out this week's newsletter, which is linked in the video description below. There you'll find all of the latest stuff that we didn't have space for here in the show. If you'd like, you can use the form which is in the written companion, which is also linked in the video description below, to sign up for the newsletter which we release every Sunday. Don't forget to check out the Android Authority app for even faster updates. And that about does it for this one, folks. If you want to keep watching, we are at IFA 2016 in Berlin, and we have a ton of videos that we've been launching from the event. Just head on over to our YouTube channel, which is linked there on the screen and also in the video description below, to check out the latest videos from our awesome team over there. Don't forget to sign up for that newsletter and keep it tuned to Android Authority, because we are your source for all things Android. Thanks again for watching, everybody, and have a wonderful day.